What's your favorite song?
Well, actually, I'm a country western lover, but the song that moves me the most that I really enjoy listening to is What a Wonderful World by Izzy. He's the guy from Hawaii that plays the ukulele.
Yeah, I've seen that
right.
one.
Or the Tennessee Birdwalk. I like that too.
Yeah, we know you like that one. That's a good one. What is your first memory of Grandma?
Well, I was in grade 9 high school and about 3 months into grade 9, and I had a book that was 2 months overdue. So I took it back to the library, and when I walked in the door, here was this beautiful girl standing there with long brown hair down to her shoulders, yellow dress on, black and white saddle shoes. You can just picture it. Mm-hmm. And I walked up and I was so nervous, and all I could look at was her lipstick, which was actually coral pink. She used to wear that all the time.
Good memory. That's good.
Yeah, well, ever since then, she was in my mind every day.
Yeah, she's special.
She is.
We love her. What is your fondest childhood memory?
Well, I think it would be out here in the country. I grew up just over here, a couple hundred yards from that big house, and we were sort of classed as the poor people because we didn't have all that much. But my mother's family, they were musicians, and my grandfather was a music teacher, and he used to come down with the instruments, and my dad played the guitar, and he played every stringed instrument there was. My mother played the piano, and they would bring food and whatnot. We'd have picnics. We'd go down to the pond for boat rides. And it was just a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had one uncle that he always used to bring ice cream, but not a brick or like we have. He'd bring a whole tub of ice cream.
Like the big shots.
And of course, there's no deep freeze back then, so he said, "You kids get over here and start eating this ice cream before it all melts." And so we did.
Is that how you learned to play the sax?
Well,
Wait, didn't you play?
no, I played the trumpet.
Oh, the trumpet. Because
Yeah.
didn't you play that to Grandma?
Oh, I played the trumpet in the boys' band in Elmer.
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
used to play the Yellow Rose of Texas out my bedroom window, and she could hear it down the road. And I also had an aunt that actually worked in the chocolate factory in London and McCormick's, and she used to bring down boxes of chocolate. So when you were kids, that was
Now you're
really
diabetic, so
good.
thing
Yeah.
You got your sweets.
And I had another aunt that said, "No, if you're not having fun today, it's all your fault."
Oh, really?
That's what she always said. Yeah.
I guess it's kind of true. If you could change anything that you did or didn't do in your life, what would it be and why?
Well, you think about that, you make a decision and you do it, and then later on you say, hey, maybe this was a mistake. Well, you can't go back. You got to make the best of it and go forward, and that's basically what I did. I left the police department in London, a 40-hour-a-week job, to 70 hours a week.
At the diner?
Yeah, oh yeah, and you didn't have time for your family and whatnot, so I sort of, toyed about doing that. That was not a good thing to do, really, but I did it, and I made the best of it, and now I'm not unhappy. Everything worked out fine.
Right. Yeah.
That's right, but I think that's the main regret. Yeah.
But we love the diner.
Oh yeah, oh sure, no, it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it did too. So you were a police officer and then you had the diner, but what did you dream of being when you grew up, when you were a child?
Well, of course, when we were little kids living over here, we had real horses, and we used to play cowboys and Native Canadians.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we would actually race around over the hills with these horses, and we got into a lot of trouble. My one brother was up in a tree, and my other brother Dave and myself, we galloped underneath the tree, and of course, him being the Indian, he jumped out of the tree, and my brother's horse galloped away, and he fell off, broke his arm, and he went around all summer with his arm up in a sling like this, and I fell off the horse, but I was so small I had the reins tied around me. And when I went down onto the ground, the reins didn't break, and the horse's hoof was coming down by my head, boom, 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 and finally it broke.
Oh my gosh.
I was pretty lucky.
That's scary.
We're lucky to be here.
So you wanted to be a cowboy?
Yeah, oh yeah, but then, yeah, of course, and then, but I wanted to be the sheriff, right? So, and I did join the police department. I sort of wanted to fly too when I was in high school. I went out to the Air Force station where the police college is now to join the Air Force, and I chickened out when I got there. But Jonathan's a pilot now, so I can live it through him.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
What would you say is was your most life-changing moment?
Well, as I say, growing up over here, not going to town very often, maybe once a week, not even drinking coffee, can you imagine? And then going to London to join the police department. It was a pretty big step, and I got on the police department, and that's where I learned about, as Clint Eastwood would say, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it sure opened your eyes in a hurry. I remember the first day out on the job, I was with a senior officer, and we went down to the main street, and he looked up one street and down the street and up the street, and we stood there for about 20 minutes, and I said, wow, is this police work? And he says, well, first things first. And he turned around and took me into a coffee shop for a coffee.
What would you say was your most challenging moment as a father?
Well, I was pretty fortunate. All our kids were perfect. And but even though we had a restaurant, we had lots of food all the time, but it seemed like every time we sat down for a meal, the kids would fight over food. The one thing they didn't need to fight over. And it always bothered me. But they didn't really, there really wasn't any big challenges. I think the most important thing was I taught them the word perseverance. So they know that if you want to get something done, you persevere. And I think the other big thing that changed my life was when I joined the Masonic Lodge, because that's a bunch of guys that get together. It's based on religion, but it's not religious. No denomination. And what the Masonic Lodge does, it takes a good man and makes him better. And I think it did change my life. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could describe my mom, so Lori, in 3 words, what would they be?
I don't think there's enough good words in the dictionary to describe your mom. Like she's beautiful on the outside, beautiful on the inside. And she's the type of person that perseveres. Anything she wants to do, she'll do it. And no questions asked. I know, she's been the perfect daughter.
Your only daughter?
My only daughter, but I see other daughters around that people have, and I'm pretty lucky.
She's pretty special.
She's a good girl.
This is kind of just a silly one. If your house was burning down and you had to grab 3 objects to take with you, what would you get?
My goodness, I think I would grab my computer, because all your bank statements, your pictures and whatnot, most of them are on your computer. So if you have that, you've got all that. The other thing would be a pair of pants and a pair of shoes.
It's very practical.
That's about it. I don't know what else you could do.
Not really. If you could stay one age forever, what would it be?
I think it would be about 50 to 52 years old, because your business is going well enough that you have a decent life. You've accumulated toys, and the good thing is your kids have all grown up. You've finished your job raising your kids. They've moved out. We have the empty nest, and it's sort of enjoyable. We started traveling then. We've been to dozens of different countries and around the world, and it's been great.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that's where my parents are.
That's right.
Right now.
Yeah.
So I think that they're at a pretty good spot too.
I envy your dad, because he's worked hard, he plays hard, and they've accumulated, and they're having fun. Got lots of friends.
That's their, I think, biggest thing is they work hard. And then they play just as hard.
That's right.
If you could go back in time for one day, what day would it be?
One day.
What would you do?
Well, when I was working down here at the mill, I was in the bush and I had a tree fall on me. And I had 3 back operations after that. So I think I'd go back into that wood lot and stand 20 feet to the left.
That makes a lot of sense. That would avoid a lot of difficulty. Well, thank you, Grandpa. It's been very interesting, and it's always fun listening to your stories.
Oh, you're a sweetheart.
Love ya.
I love you too, hon.
Okay.